And now, to honor America, especially the brave men and women serving our nation in the Persian Gulf and throughout the world, please join in the singing of our national anthem. The anthem will be followed by a flyover of F-16 jets from the 56th Tactical Training Wing at MacDill Air Force Base, and will be performed by the Florida Orchestra under the direction of Maestro Yaha Ling and sung by Grammy Award winner Whitney Houston.
The Persian Gulf War lasted from August 2nd in 1990 to February 28th in 1991. It was codenamed Operation Desert Storm. Lasted from January 17th to February 28th in 1991. Commonly referred to as simply the Gulf War, was a war waged by an unauthorized coalition force from 34 nations led by the U.S. against Iraq in response to Iraq's invasion and annexation of Kuwait. U.S. President George H.W. Bush deployed American forces into Saudi Arabia and urged other countries to send their own forces to the scene. An array of nations joined the coalition. The great majority of the military forces in the coalition were from the United States, with Saudi Arabia, the United Kingdom, and Egypt as leading contributors in that order. Around U.S. $36 billion of the U.S. $60 billion cost was paid by Saudi Arabia. The war was marked by the beginning of live news on the front lines of the fight with the primacy of the U.S. network CNN. The war was also earned the nickname Video Game War, after the daily broadcast images on board the American bombers during Operation Desert Storm. The initial conflict to expel Iraqi troops from Kuwait began with an aerial bombardment on January 17, 1991. This was followed by a ground assault on February 23rd. This was a decisive victory for the coalition forces, who liberated Kuwait and advanced into Iraqi territory. The coalition seized their advance and declared a ceasefire 100 hours after the ground campaign started. Aerial and ground combat was confined to Iraq, Kuwait, and areas on the border of Saudi Arabia. However, Iraq launched Scud missiles against coalition military targets in Saudi Arabia and against Israel. That same year, the late Grammy Award-winning singer Whitney Houston gave what is known as the best national anthem performance performed at a Super Bowl of all time, which was dedicated to the Gulf War soldiers.